Hello, and welcome to Wine with Wita, the podcast that is dedicated to engaging with health professionals and caregivers in meaningful discussions. I'm your host, Rejection, or as my clients call me, Wita. I'm a pediatric speech pathologist, and I am so excited to have you here. Each week, we deep dive into connecting you with caregivers and healthcare professionals, sharing their insights, stories, and key takeaways to help you with your child's diagnosis and your journey. Whether you are a parent, healthcare professional, a lifetime learner, or simply a wine enthusiast, you're in the right place. So let's sit back and relax and enjoy today's episode. Hey everyone, this is your host Rita Shamoon of the podcast Wine with Wita. Today is an amazing milestone where I get to celebrate 4 years of managing, running, and supporting clients in my business, RS Speech Pathology. And also this month, I celebrate 2 years of my podcast, Wine with Wita. So recently I had my 100th episode, massive celebrations with 100th episodes. So now I want to talk about the experience as a mum, starting a business by myself, and not necessarily the lessons, but what inspired me and what has motivated me to continue. Now, you hear all over the podcast and also over social media, people share the lessons that they have learned or the growth that they have accomplished. And I love that. It's so beautiful to witness other businesses share their mishaps, share their lessons that help them thrive, that help them grow, and also help them change their path. But I want to now do something that I've been wanting to share for a while. Um, so just bear with me in this podcast as I navigate the dot points I've written here. Um, many years ago, when my children were younger, and I'm sure every mother can resonate with this, when you would breastfeed your baby, especially at 3 a.m. and it's so cold, you'd probably put on the TV, but on silent mode or put it with just captions so the family doesn't wake up. But for me, I would enter competitions. I would be on Instagram and my bubba's on my bust. And to keep myself alert and to make sure my daughters had a feed, I would tag people on my page, on these competition pages. And literally, it was just there just to keep me alert and awake. But over time, I would win. And it would be like dinners or win toys for my daughters or win excursions or day trips like tickets to Disney on Ice or even see Emma Wiggle, like little things that I could do with my kids to keep them entertained when they were younger without constantly spending. Yeah. And I guess all of us have that inkling that we sometimes don't want to spend too much, but we still want to do a lot with our kids. So it was a nice way for me to do things for my kids, but also keeping me alert as I breastfed. And over time, I learnt the strategies that these businesses wanted. It wasn't necessarily tagging a friend. When they would ask that 25 words or less question, I would write a poem, something short and snappy that's related to the business. And over time, I would win. At one point, I won in a year about $30,000 worth of experiences. Now, that took a lot of effort, but it was all achieved when my youngest was being breastfed. And I'm laughing because I vividly remember just tagging and thinking of the phrases to say. But also, when I was reading to my daughter, eldest daughter, the little books with the short phrases, and they would rhyme a lot, right? I would remember how the words would finish in the sentence, and I knew how captivating they were. So I would then implement that into my 25 words or less entry. And looking back, that was the most powerful lesson that taught me so many skills that you need in a business and also when you're starting a brand like the podcast. So, firstly, from a marketing perspective, I knew what businesses were looking for. They were looking at how could you help us or how could you help them? So when I was looking into Wine with Wita, how could Wine with Wita strengthen? How could Wine with Wita support a brand? And that was like my pitch when I would pitch Wine with Wita to guests or even to businesses. It wasn't only about Wine with Wita, it was what it could do for someone else. And I would think back of my time when I would breastfeed, how would I encourage that person to believe my argument or even believe my reason? So that was like an early marketing skill. But also, even though I didn't win things, it showed me the power of consistency and showing up. And as a business owner, particularly within this uncertain time with NDIS, we don't know what's going on. There's always changes. We have to deal with our clients emotionally and the unpredictability of it. But the biggest thing I've learned in business and in the podcast is showing up. And I showed up as I was breastfeeding all those times to keep entering and entering and entering. And as a business owner, my advice for anyone is to simply show up and be consistent. And it also showed me the wonder of being you. Now, in the from a winning perspective, especially the 25 words or less, I would make it about myself. Now, a lot of the entries, they would ask, why do you want to win? I would say 70% of other people's entries would make it about their mishaps. Oh, I've had a hard life. I've lost my job. I've got 6 children. So, yes, they're well and true great reasons. But if everyone's saying that, how can you say the same thing, make it personable, make it about you, but also make it quite witty and engaging that catches the eye of the business or the marketing agency? And I learnt so much in that moment about being you and how you by yourself, you're enough. But also what I learnt about myself through my poetry and my rhyming answers, I was quite witty. I was quite snappy. I knew the words that would rhyme and that would make people chuckle. And naturally, now in my interactions with people, it's the first thing to be. Make them laugh, make them engage, make them smile. And if we really pull back that, simply being you, showing up, being joyful, smiling, making a beautiful connection is the way a relationship can grow. Even a business partnership can grow too. So it's funny how something that I did many, many years ago to keep my child fed, keep myself alert, taught me the power of consistency, the wonders of marketing, but also the beauty of showing up. And a lot of the time, people would say, oh, Reet, you're so lucky. You're so lucky you win all of these things. And I would just step back and say, do you know how many sleepless nights I've had? Do you know the arthritis or carpal tunnel that I feel in my in my wrist every time I'm tagging? My love, it's not luck. And I'm sure every business owner knows this. It's got nothing to do with luck. You've worked your ass off to get here. You've been consistent and you've shown up, right? And you've had a go. So give yourself the praise, step back and look, you know what? Yeah, I showed up. I was consistent. I did the hard yards and it's not luck. You worked really hard for that. Um, and the other thing, I've got here some points that I want to share. If I never won, even though there were many elements that I wanted to win, if I didn't win, I know another business, another agent, or another organization would have this opportunity again. So that also taught me the idea of rejection. Just because that one or that arrangement or that agreement didn't go ahead, another beautiful arrangement or agreement will come up. And I heard a podcast not long ago. I forgot her name, Erica, the balance theory. She said, she had a guest on there that said, if you knew it would take you 50 no's to get to the biggest yes, would you stop? And that's the mindset that I have. There could be an unlimited supply of no's, but I have to go through that to get to the big yes. And I hand on heart really believe that if you consistently show up and you consistently have a go, understand that rejection is redirection and something better is coming, doors can always open for you. And how did I learn that? I learned that through entering competitions when I was younger. And funnily, I had a particular interest in entering food, winning restaurants, and I would meet the most amazing chefs because of these dining experiences that I would win. And it made me really love fine dining because I had won them. And someone I would never forget, a friend told me when they would see how many restaurants I had attended or visited, they said, "Are you going to make something out of this? Are you going to be a food influencer because your passion is thriving through it?" I said, "No, no, I don't want to be another food blogger. I'm not a blogger for food. I just like to show where I've been, but something amazing will come of this." And in Arabic, we say subhanallah, like it's in God, with God's will and God's grace. My love of fine dining then became the alliteration for Wita, the whole wine element. So honestly, the way the world works, from something that you were doing to pass by the time that I was having fun with, has now led to my career, through my passion, through my purpose as well. So, yeah, guys, just always have a go. Have a look. And I've got here a good point that I wanted to say, that participation, just having a go, creates opportunity. And I think it's so beautiful to know in business, when you're living in your small bubble, like myself here in the suburb, you sometimes think this is just the circle. That's all you have to achieve. But the world is so big. The people that I have met through the podcast and Wine with Wita, I would never have met through my business. And the opportunities that I've participated in and have contributed to have opened doors by me simply saying yes to something. So me, that when I said yes to competitions many, many years ago and entering those, has taught me the skill of saying yes and understanding that yes could lead to another opportunity. So that's an amazing thing. And I feel also with running a business, the idea of 9 to 5, working 9 to 5, for me, it doesn't exist. And I know social media talks about work-life balance and managing that. But to myself, particularly, 9 to 5 doesn't work. For me, is I need to achieve X amount of tasks in the day, and I will respond to emails X in the day. But that could be at 10 p.m. at night, or that could even be at 6 a.m. after the gym session. Same thing with breastfeeding. The baby doesn't determine what time, the baby doesn't dictate what time, or I don't dictate what time the baby was being fed. When the child was hungry is when I did what I did. And it's like a business. When my baby business needed things to be done, I showed up. I did. I delivered. So, yeah, even though the society shares this whole work life balance, to me, it's not balance. It's more, this is what makes me happy, and it's on my time and on my agenda. And, each to their own. Everyone has their own perspective. And just because I think this way doesn't mean you're wrong. It could also mean that everyone's just doing their thing their own way. And that's how I manage my business as RS Speech Pathology. And one other thing I learned through the breastfeeding competitions is people are all the same. We're all the same. And when we're connecting with individuals and building a brand as well, show up as yourself. Be you. Always be you. Okay, what else do I want to say? Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So, yes, I had a winning edge back in the breastfeeding, but when those opportunities of other competitions came my way, I would enter them and I would win to help me build my business. So all of these equipment for the podcast, I won it through BizCover, my business insurance. They had a segment called Biz Giver. They wanted to give a dream to a business, and I showed up. I honestly will never forget. I was with my phone, recorded a minute video of why I needed to win, was vulnerable, was witty, it was funny. As I said before, all those things I learned many, many years ago, I did it. I said yes. Yes, I showed up. I was consistent. And they picked me. I won the grant to fund all of this. And that led to BizCover. And then earlier this year, I had a dream for my RS Speech Pathology business, because there's a need in our industry where many parents can't access the funding or the services because of waiting lists. So I contacted Jules Robinson Fuel Fund, right? I had a go. I entered, I participated. I was witty, I was curious, I was creative. Did I fear rejection? Did I fear humiliation? Did I fear people were going to judge me? Hell no, because I had a go as they were sitting there criticizing because of their own insecurities or their own flaws. And guess what? I won. Jules Robinson surprised me when I was having coffee with a friend. And can I say that has changed my life? That has changed the way I interact with people, the way I consistently tell my own children, show up, have a go, but also it has strengthened my business of RS Speech Pathology. So, guys, have a go. Always have a go consistently. But I think I did win something else. I'm just trying to think, what else did I win? I won the Biz Cup. Oh, yes, that's what I won. When I first started my business, and again, things just pop up on the Instagram page that you just don't know where it leads. I came across a beautiful woman called Priscilla Skippington. She had a competition where she wanted to help a small business founder create their logo, set up their website, pretty much start up their whole business page and branding and so forth. And guess what? I won through my entry, through my 25 words or less, through my connection to Priscilla. And she is the most beautiful woman. She has helped my business grow in many, many, many ways. And it all simply started by me having a go, me saying yes, me showing up, and me not fearing the worst case outcome because there wasn't. I was honestly just going to strengthen my business as well. So, in summary, I would say I've won about close to $20,000 of funds to help RS Speech Pathology. And that has taken it to places that I have never expected it to go or to be at. So yeah, Messi, I don't know if I'm speaking as clear as I would like because I'm so excited to share this. But guys, have a go. Every connection or every opportunity is to connect and to grow. If you take that from every dynamic or every opportunity, you are better than what you were yesterday. And I love that. And I always share that with my clients. And I always share that with my daughters too. Um, so I didn't build this just by registering my ABN and going on the local media or local social media to say, hey, I'm a speechy or word of mouth. It grew by the small moments. It grew by me showing up. It grew by me having a go. It grew by me just entering, having a go. And simply, it grew by me being me. And in my years of as a speech pathologist, particularly with the growth with wine, with Wita, you see who shows up with you. You see who stands with you, but you also see who no longer deserves a place at the table in your life. And you know what? That is so okay. As you have a business, it is very isolating at times when you're so focused and driven on your own projects, on your own goals. And it can be quite alone and it can be quite disheartening when people don't understand where you're at or what you're achieving for the greater good. And that is okay. You outgrow those dynamics because they're just not meant to come on the ride with you. So, alongside having a go, be around people that are like you. Be around high achievers. Be around other businesses that are sole traders too, because they'll simply understand what it's like to show up, to understand rejection, to understand no, but also understand the drive of simply having a go, having a go. So, guys, I encourage you, find the joy of what sparks the you. Implement that in your interactions, implement that in your dynamic in your business, but also with who you are. Be you. And I see it all the time. The greatest currency in business is authenticity and yourself. So, yeah, guys, that's my little blurb for RS Speech Pathology and how far it's come and what has inspired me to grow from simply being a mum through breastfeeding to growing into a beautiful business that has helped so many individuals find their voice, and me giving families that voice through the podcast. It fills my heart in many ways that I can't describe. So a massive thank you to all my clients that have been in my business, that have strengthened my business, and they are my biggest cheerleaders in my business simply by finding the joy in communication with them. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and I've made you feel more inspired. Would love it if you could leave a review, as it helps the podcast grow in more ways than you would know. Hope you're all well, guys, and take care. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Wine with Wita. I hope you found some new inspiration, learnt something new, or gained a fresh perspective. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you please leave a 5-star review, as it really helps the show get in the ears of new listeners, plus it takes 5 seconds. If you're keen for more strategies and insights, then head over to Instagram and follow RS Speech Pathology.